Aquarius, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-February 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Aquarians in their birthday season, might I add. I hope you're all doing fantastic. Let's get it going here. My guide spirit team, talk to me about the beautiful Aquarians in their birthday season. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Aquarius, please. And thank you. What is the vibe for my good friends? And while we get this first card out, I just want to wish you all a very happy birthday from me to you. Whether it's already passed, whether it's still coming up, I really hope you had a great one. Okay, so there's a bit of complexity to the energy that we're leading off with this week. And I haven't seen this card in a while. You know, there are seasons where this card does show up early and often for a lot of signs, and it's kind of been missing, MIA. But there's just a lot of complexity with it. It makes sense with what I've been seeing for you in recent weeks, because it's like, all right, well, it might look simple, looks pretty simple on the surface, but there's a lot going on underneath. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the February subscriber surprise towards then, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk a little more in depth about this card. So what makes it so complex, you might ask? We see this lady, it looks like she's looking in a mirror, but if you notice, she's holding a mask in front of her face. There's multiple reflections. There's a Russian babushka doll there, which is like layer upon layer upon layer. There's a lot of different items. So this does tell me for a lot of Aquarians, whether you're dealing with very complex feelings and emotions right now, maybe you're dealing with a situation where it's not all that meets the eye. An outside observer might be like, all right, well, that's very simple. You just got to do this, but there's more to it. And that's the big thing that's showing up here. It's like, no, there's more to it. It's a little more complex than that. It's a little more nuanced. That's a big vibe. Now, if that's not the case, if you're not dealing with any complex situations or experiencing complex feelings, this card can just represent a lot of things coming at you. So you might just be busy. You might be dealing with a lot of situations. A lot of other people's energies could be commingling with yours when this card is here. So you see what I mean? It doesn't seem like much, but it is. That's a big thing with this card. So we're going to put her down right here. She could keep chilling out. And yeah, let's get into tarot. And I always say the first card here doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for my Aquarians. What do we got? Please and thank you. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. There were a lot of big picture energies last week, a lot of karmic energies, and the reading was titled Karma Gets Served. Now, I always say karma comes in a whole bunch of different ways. Sometimes it could be rewards, right? Sometimes it could be for the good things you've done. Sometimes you could witness people getting things that they've deserved. And it did feel like there could have been a reckoning, okay? Whether you observed it, whether you didn't, it's like, all right, now the karmic hands are spinning. The universe has the ball, and the universe is going to take care of something. So we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's. Let's get it going. 3 cards for my Aquarians. And I will say this, for the other air signs in the past 2 weeks, they've been getting a lot of karmic archetypes too, so you're not alone. But let's get these 3 cards out. What do we got for Aquarius, please? What is happening? Thank you. Okay. That showed up in the Gemini reading, I believe. So we do have the devil in position number 1. That's something we are most definitely going to want to keep an eye on. I mean, unless you have plenty of Capricorn placements yourself, which is possible, right? They're your zodiacal neighbor. Let's get a couple more out, though. That doesn't tank the reading. What do we have here for Aquarius, please? Thank you. Judgment. Opposing. These energies oppose each other. So it's like we have the classic angel on one shoulder, devil on the other. That's the big vibe we're picking up. It's like, wow, it's very poignant. It's very intense as well. Let's get one more. Very intense energy. All right, we do have the 5 of Cups. So this is going to be a nuanced one for you this week, Aquarius. And again, this doesn't have to be your energy. It could be somebody else in their feelings for sure, with what we're seeing here on the back end. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. At first look, first glance, we have an interesting mixture of elements. We do have mainly earth and water happening here, which I generally say represents a lot of potential. So even if we do have difficulties, difficult energies, struggles, situations, problems, what have you, it's like, all right, well, there is potential for something to grow from it. Like it's not fruitless, if that makes sense. That's something I'm initially feeling. We do have judgment here in the center, so we can possibly have energies that are at odds or battling. So whether it's within you, whether it's around you, we're just going to have to see. And that's kind of what I've been picking up here in the beginning. It's either I'm considering, I'm thinking, devil on the shoulder, angel on the shoulder. What do I do? Or again, this could be oppositional. That's a big thing I'm picking up here with the devil and Gabriel showing up. But let's go through piece by piece and really build it out, because I don't want to just paint a one-tone picture for you. Because like I said with this first card, it might be a lot more complex than we assume when we see these cards. Now, position number one, we're starting with the devil. And this is the Capricorn card. And they get it because of the goat symbolism, right? We love our Capricorn friends. So maybe you have some planets in Capricorn placements there. Maybe you're connected to one. That could very much be the case. The devil isn't always terrible energy, and you know I always like to give you the full picture. With the positives, this could be a big money focus, right? So a lot of you could just be very focused on work, money, finances when the devil's here. This card represents the material world, whereas this one's spiritual. So it's like we have that dark, light, masculine, feminine, material, spiritual happening. It's like we have one foot in each world, if that makes sense. Very peculiar the way your energy is presenting this week, or the energy around you. Now, aside from that, there's a long laundry list of challenges with the devil. So I'm just going to list a few, right? It could represent addictions. It could represent toxicity, toxic people, toxic connections. It could represent obsession. It could represent jealousy. It could represent a thought that we can't get out of our head. It could represent any sort of addiction or behavior that we want to work on. This is an energy that seems planted, though. So if it is a situation, if it is a problem, it could be something that we've either been dealing with for a while, or it's something that might linger, or there's like a potential for it to linger. So we definitely want to look at this further and see what shows up, because the devil can always be a serious warning, okay, especially with the Five of Cups on the back end. But I don't think this energy is coming through unchecked. That's the good thing. I don't feel like whatever this is, warning or not, I don't feel like it's running rampant. I feel like there is an energy that's like kind of keeping it in check, or at least trying to. We have judgment right here in the center. Now, this is a karmic card, just like we saw last week, just like I've been seeing for other air signs. This could be a decision, a choice, make or break, right? Just like I said, devil on one shoulder, angel on the other. Do I go left? Do I go right? So for a lot of Aquarians in this time, there could be a certain breaking point with something, with a situation where it's like, okay, now comes the time. Do I take this road or do I take that one? Or things that you're experiencing right now are going to set things in motion for the future in a big way. So even minor things you're going through right now might have long-term implications. Okay, judgment can sometimes represent, aside from judgment calls, things transforming, changing. Aside from the karmic aspects, it could be things returning. It could be things popping back up, which makes sense when we have the devil and judgment. It's like, here it comes again, or here it is again. So we're definitely going to have to look at all this. Now, a big issue, because all cards have issues, with judgment, is that it's so change-based, it's so Plutonian, that it can be explosive. It can be very uncontrollable, right? It's super intense. So that's why I feel like this devil energy, it's not running rampant. Moving to the back end, we do have the Five of Cups, and we see our friend here dressed up all goth, all emo, all in black, very upset, so sad. This is the River of Tears card, okay? Now, it's not all terrible. It can represent, again, a problem, a difficult period. Could be someone you're connected to as well. They could be a little down in the dumps. I always say it's on a spectrum, right? So it could be gloominess. It could be just a couple of patchy, rough days. It could be full-on heartbreak, though, too. That's the thing. But the good aspect with the Five of Cups tells me it's not permanent. It's like something that can be, you can get over it or you could get through it. Because notice, there's still cups standing. There's still things on the horizon. So it's like, all right, we're in a rough patch, or this is something that we, at some point, it will be overcome. That's the good thing with this card. But yeah, it is down. So we do have a couple of potential warnings this week that we do want to take a closer look at. So let's get that Five of Cups in right there. Yeah, let's dive deeper on it all, Aquarius. Let's jump in and clarify. Let's get a good shuffle here. What do we have for Aquarius, please? Gods and Spirit team. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the devil first. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Aquarius, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, what's the devil doing here? What is happening with this energy? What's going on with the devil? There we go. Thank you. And it just emerges quick. It's like so out of nowhere. Okay, so we have the Chariot underneath here. Now, interestingly, the Chariot does connect to the Cancer collective. When you look at the zodiacal wheel, Cancer and Capricorn, they're on the same zodiacal axis. They're across from each other. Whereas with Aquarius, you're across from Leo. You signs balance each other out. Same thing goes here. Now, I will say there's a positive aspect here. If there is an issue or a problem or something that you're dealing with or something that pops up quickly, Spirit is saying the quicker you jump on it, the quicker you attack it, the better the results are going to be. This could be Spirit saying, like, listen, don't let it linger. Do not let it linger. Like, you got to make some moves quick. So it's like when this surfaces, jump on it quick. The Chariot is one of the fastest moving cards in the whole entire deck, right? And you see him there. It can be confrontational. It's very determined. So when I see it underneath the devil card, it's either one, telling me that a problem or a situation pops up in a surprising way, like, ta-da, here I am, like a jack in the box. So watch out for surprising problems or situations that are like, okay, where the hell did this come from? But at the same time, I feel like if you take action on it quick, especially with the Chariot and Judgment surrounding the devil, it's like the quicker you attack it, the better you're going to be. All right, don't try to sweep anything under the rug. Don't try to just take the passive approach. Don't think that this is something that's just going to resolve itself, which is peculiar because a lot of times I'm of the mindset where it's like, all right, well, let's take a breath here. Let's take a breath for a minute. Let's analyze it with any situation. I really like to take a moment. This is Spirit saying, like, no, if and when this does pop up, you jump on it quick. Okay, like quick, fast, like cut it off quickly. And there is a potential for that. So I feel like all of those things could be true. A couple of those things could be true. Hopefully this isn't something that you've dealt with before that just flares back up again, because that's another thing I've been seeing for air signs. Let's go in on Judgment. We'll see how the rest of it plays out. But yeah, those are the main messages I'm feeling there. Let's go and see what Judgment has, please. Let's get a full picture. Thank you. Okay, King of Wands in reverse. And it's like there needs to be a balance, because the King of Wands in reverse can be a little reckless. So it's like, yeah, there's a difference between attacking something quick and putting a lot of energy into it than just going wild, right? So like, even though Spirit wants you to like take care of something quickly, handle it quickly, it's like, all right, well, don't just throw all caution to the wind. Like, there's a way to do it in a structured way. I know this is getting very specific. I know there's going to be thousands of you watching this, but I feel like these energies are coming through very specifically. Now, the King of Wands, that could be a fire sign for some Aquarians out there. Maybe you're having issues with a fire sign. This is somebody acting or reacting in a very unpredictable manner. So it could tie into what we're seeing here in the front. When I see the King of Wands, I think of someone focusing their action somewhere. So when he's in upright, that's good. That's awesome. This is someone doing the right things, focusing on the right things. When it's in reverse, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what was that? So watch out for certain individuals around you that they might be acting much more spontaneous than they normally do. This is a very volatile, explosive energy here in the center, and it can be tied into this. So again, I feel like, no, this is a situation that you should address it quickly, but don't be reckless about it. Try your best not to be like super confrontational. There's a difference between addressing something or fighting it, if that makes sense. This is such a peculiar reading this week. Let's keep moving. Either that or just there's people around you, they're just acting wild, or they might be. There's a potential for it, especially with this and this. This energy is wild. Okay, so this could even be like an explosive warning too. I know we have multiple warnings, but when I see this explosive energy and problems popping up out of nowhere and people acting wild, it's like, what is going on? So watch out for that. Let's see what's up with the Five of Cups. Let's see what's up with that. Yeah, the Nine of Swords. Okay. So this is not the best energy, especially in your birthday season, that's for sure. And someone that's like very stressed out. This could be the fallout of all that. Five of Cups with the Nine of Swords. So we have the sadness, double, right? Like this is a card of someone losing sleep, very stressed, anxious, nervous. So it's like we have someone that's down in the dumps, but also someone that's high strung. So it could be one person with both, or two people reacting differently from the same situation, where someone's much more glum, another person is like wound tight in their mind about it. Now I do feel if we go back to the beginning where it's like, no, but just address it, that could solve a lot of these energies here in the back. It's like, all right, just address it, don't sweep it under the rug. If you address it in the proper way, things will be okay. That's what this tells me. But yeah, with all the things we've been seeing, with all the little warnings that have been popping up for you this week, and again, this doesn't have to manifest for you. I'm not telling you to claim this. This could just be someone around you that's going through like a wild time, that's for sure. Feel free to check your other placements as well, because I mean, it all really depends on your chart, right? Your sun, your moon, your rising, Venus, you name it. But the Nine of Swords is very wound tight. So I would lay low this coming week. That's a bit of an advice I would give for a lot of Aquarians. I know it's your birthday season, but this energy is like, oh, lay low if possible, right? Because if you're like, the energy is just too wild. It's too sporadic for me, if I'm being honest with you. And I'm an Aries, right? So for an Aries to say this energy feels wild, that's crazy. But let's go through and do a quick recap, and we'll get into the shadow card. So there's a lot of intensity here in your reading this week, Aquarius. And you know I'm an optimist. I always love to give positive readings. But position number one, we have the Devil with the Chariot and the Upright. Two main things I was picking up. This could be a surprising or unexpected problem or situation that just, boop, it pops up out of nowhere. We get the same thing next to it as well. Very reactionary type of energy where it's like, boom, boom, things are happening quick. So it's very explosive in its way. But it also is spirit saying, like, don't sweep something under the rug. And if this does pop up, if this does come to pass, the quicker you address it, the better. Don't let it linger. Don't sweep it under the rug. Moving to the center, we have Judgment with the King of Wands in reverse. So if you're not having any issues with a fire sign, either this is someone being extra aggressive. So it's like, no, address it, but don't be too aggressive about it. Address it, but don't fight. Like, don't get into an altercation. That's kind of an error. But there's also somebody acting very unpredictably. So just know there could be certain people around you that are acting in an unpredictable manner. Very explosive energy here. So that is a warning again. Moving to the back end, here's where we see the possible fallout. We have the Five of Cups with the Nine of Swords. So sad and stressed and anxious and all those yuckies that are expected if there's fallout from a situation like what we're seeing here. But I feel like the recipe or the cure that we see here to this energy in the back is, if you address it quick, the lesser that will be. Okay, so whether it's a health thing, whether it's a work thing, whether it's a personal relationship thing, whatever pops up, address it quick and you'll be happy that you did. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows for you. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got in the shadows for Aquarius, please? And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. Let's get you one. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get your shadow card going. What do we got? What do we got? Cool. Knight of Swords. That's one of your power cards, and I do like it, and it kind of fits the theme with the stuff we were seeing here in the front, where it's like, okay, you want to get wild? Let's get wild. So I don't feel like you backing down from the energy we were seeing in this week's reading, and it makes sense from what I know about Aquarians. It's like, I know they're not the type to back down. So when I see the Knight of Swords, it's like, all right, let's go. So just know that whatever it is, whether it's you addressing something quickly or if there's someone acting in an unpredictable type of way, it's like you feed into it and you're reactionary to it. It's just, it gets wild, right? So I'm picking up a very wild energy around you. It's even in the shadows. Now, the Nine of Swords can be very good. It's about progress. It's about motion. But the challenging side of it, it is aggressive. Okay, so when we see this type of energy, watch out. There could be certain individuals that get a rise out of you in this time. And I don't see you backing down from energy like this. I would just urge you to use it in a constructive way, right? Use this powerful determination in a constructive way. So yeah, Aquarius, that was an intriguing one, my friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The February subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out the availability and my digital calendar on my website, mastermetaphysics.com, so we could get a little forecast for the next few weeks for you. But for the February subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of my favorite decks, the Tarot of the Owls. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, if you could snap your fingers right now and wish for something, what would it be? It could be anything except more wishes. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll talk to you soon.